Last week there was some news about how the California legislature was trying to make a move to get the California primary moved up in the schedule. So what they wanted to do was have it come right after Iowa, Nevada, South Carolina, and New Hampshire. After those four states, I believe they wanted to come on Super Tuesday. So indeed, on Saturday, it did pass the California legislature. So now it's on the desk of Governor Jerry Brown, who is a Democrat. So at first glance, especially if you're a resident of California, maybe you would be thinking, well, maybe I do want our state to have more of a say in the election, in the primary process. Maybe I do, because I've heard that before from residents of California, how they wanted to be more of a part of it. They didn't want their state to come right at the end because I guess they feel like it's kind of irrelevant by that point.
And since and I actually I've heard people who don't live in California make that argument too, seeing as they're a large part of the electorate.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I guess they feel that it makes more sense to start out with a state who has a large population. You know what I'm saying? But what are your concerns with it?
Let's just go back to 2016, okay? So the main people running in the Democratic primary was Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. You had some others, but they fizzled out very early. So it was Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders. After those four states, after New Hampshire, Iowa, South Carolina, and Nevada, it was, I don't know. I mean, Hillary Clinton had some momentum, I guess, because she had won Nevada closely, but she had killed Bernie Sanders in South Carolina. So maybe you could say that she had some momentum. Okay.
Yeah, because the southern states.
Yeah, because that southern stronghold, whatever, the wall of black people that they were saying it was going to go right to Hillary Clinton. Okay.
Firewall.
The firewall. So, after those four states though, let's say California came right after those four states. Now, by that time, I don't know how many debates had been broadcasted. Maybe a few. We know that the amount of debates was limited in 2016. So maybe there were 2, 3, maybe something like that. I'm not sure. What I do know is by that point, a lot of people still didn't know who Bernie Sanders was. And they definitely didn't know, if they did know him, a lot of people didn't know what he was about. So by having the California primary come that early, he hasn't reached those people yet. Somebody like Bernie Sanders wouldn't have had reached those people yet. So I think Hillary Clinton won California by what? I think she won like 53% of the vote, something like that. I think she would have won it by a lot more than that if California was moved up to Super Tuesday.
See, right now you're not explaining.
Oh, I know.
No. You're not explaining. You're actually. See, the funny thing is, you're not really explaining what would have happened last year. Mm-hmm. What you're doing is you're explaining what they want to happen.
Yes.
You're explaining what they want to happen. You're pretty much laying out. You're suggesting that there's a reason why they want to do that, because it kind of it limits the time that we can examine.
Right.
The individuals who choose to run.
Right. Especially if you're not an establishment candidate. See, if you're somebody like Hillary Clinton, who has name recognition, who's a star, a celebrity, she's known around the globe. If you're somebody like that, then California isn't a problem because you already are getting that media attention. It's going to be no problem canvassing. It's going to be no problem raising enough money because, let's be honest, you're taking corporate money, right? You have super PACs, right? So you're gonna have a good ground game to catapult you to the win. Now, somebody like Bernie Sanders, who was not taking corporate money, who did not have a super PAC, who of course later on down the line, he's going to be building steam. He's not going to be the strongest at the front because not enough people are going to know who he is. He's going to be stronger later. once people hear his message, once the media has no choice but to cover him.
So it's twofold. It's twofold. So basically it doesn't give the underdog enough time to get known, and it kind of allows the more known candidate, I guess, it limits people's opportunity to examine what they're really about. So it's twofold.
Right. Because, yeah, exactly. If there's a better candidate, you may not know it by the time the primary comes. And the candidate that you do know, you may not know how bad they are.
Less time to dig up dirt.
Right. You remember how in the first debate, okay? The first debate, the first Democratic debate, I remember that the deadline, New York, okay? The deadline to register as a Democrat in New York was before the first Democratic debate. Now, what's the biggest group of people in America? Are they Democrats? Are they Republicans? Or are they independents? Yeah, they're independents, right? Mm-hmm. So before anybody even got a national look at Bernie Sanders and what he sounded like, what his campaign message was, how he wanted to govern, before they even knew him, anything about him, they would have had a registered Democrat to be able to vote for him.
So
you think that was by design?
I'm not saying it was official. I'm not saying that was officially by design, but it sure did look official.
Yeah, it looked official. If Governor Jerry Brown does indeed sign this piece of legislation and moves the California primary up, we're looking at, in the Democratic primary, we're looking at a pretty much a wide open field as it is right now. We can't really say who's a front runner. I don't know that there is a front runner because nobody has said, yeah, I'm definitely going to run. We can assume that people like Bernie Sanders may. I don't know. I still think it's unlikely that he will. But maybe he does. Maybe Cory Booker runs. Maybe Tulsi Gabbard runs, right?
Maybe Gillibrand won.
Maybe Gillibrand. But, ooh, we left the name out. Left the name out. Huh. Kamala Harris. From
California.
From California. Kamala Harris from California.
It's almost like they playing. I mean, maybe we're just jumping the gun, but it's almost like they're just playing their hand. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like they're playing their hand right now.
Almost. It's almost like they're playing their hand.
I just don't want to be too official.